is what I said last month that we was going to do. Due to a few complications here at the studio, we can't really manage to do everything today. So we're going to give you, some people are expecting to see what the stretches side is. So we will go through some stuff. So maybe the top half I can do sitting here so you guys have an idea of what to do. But without further ado, we do have a young guest today that I've brought along, mainly for the second part of the show, I suppose. But I will be throwing in questions. He's my son. He's coming to help out with the show and a couple of questions because as we are going to be talking about martial arts, the second half, mainly to do with children. So I'll be asking him a few questions. And he can quickly introduce himself if he doesn't mind. Young man, just give us, introduction of who you are, really.
My name is Mikhail. I'm 8 years old. Hello, everybody.
Okay, so welcome to you to my show, son. This is the first time you've actually been at the studio, so don't get too upset. We are live. People can see us live on the show. So, any question, guys, you have, by all means, feel free to text. You do know the numbers of the studio. Okay, you can. Our numbers are 1582 481 822. You can WhatsApp us on 07779 481822. Right, so Mikhail, I'm going to let you just sit there for a little while I get on with the rest of the show. You can just chill out and listen. If you have any questions, by all means, you can ask. Right, we did go through some bits last time, which we said we were going to talk about, which is to do with stretching in martial arts or in any kind of training. People have asked me, if there's any questions, feel free to text. Okay, because that'd be the best and easiest way to deal with your queries. Furthermore, a lot of you do know my mobile number, so mobile phones on most of the day, right the way up to midnight. If you have any queries or questions about the show or anything that we didn't discuss, by all means, feel free to text me, and I can maybe respond back to you from via phone, mobile. Okay, so stretching wise, people have asked me before how important it is to stretch and when to stretch, etc. And stretching, I've seen many places. I've been to many gyms I've trained over the years, and I've seen everybody, most of the time I've seen nobody really doing any stretches or any warming up even before they've actually done start to do any training, which I think is imperative. It's very, very important that we need to stretch our body, especially after we finish exercise, and warm up our body, our muscles, okay, get the blood flowing, nice and warm body to avoid injuries. And at the end of every time that you do any kind of training, whether it's martial arts or whether it's running or whether it's even in the gym doing weights, the muscles are obviously really tight and contracted, and they need to be lengthened out. To help us to recover quicker. Okay, the muscle gets torn tight by elongating and contracting, and you must finish off not with the contraction, okay, but with the stretch, so the muscle is nice and relaxed and lengthened. You all right, Mikhail? Yes? Good. Okay, so importance of stretching. Warm up we went through last time. So before we do take any exercise, whatever it is, even if we want to go for a little walk, a little bit of mobilizing would be a good thing to do before you do anything. So those people who want to decide to go for a walk or whatever, you need to be able to move your head around maybe, okay? Mobilizing your head, joints around here would be your neck, moving it around side to side, nice and slow. Shoulders will be the next thing. So rotation of the shoulders, those who can see me in the video. Okay, nice and simple. Rotation forward and rotation back. Okay, lifting your traps up towards your ears and down, just to get the muscle moving. That's all we're trying to do. Contracting muscles, lengthening muscles, stretching it out, lengthening it, contracting it. So all we're trying to do here. And then the same thing would be any joint. So here's the next one, would be your wrists round. Okay, and then rotation the other way. Trunk would be the next one. So we're moving, twisting side to side. Okay, so these are little warm-ups, or shall I say mobilizing work that we do before we should be doing any kind of exercise. The next thing is to warm up the body, and that could be done many ways, by walking, Yeah, some people go on the treadmill in the gym, cross trainer, I can go on and on. Stairmaster, go climbing up and down the stairs, anything to warm the heart rate, to warm the blood and to increase heart rate, which is very important for exercise. And then you start your exercise. So normally total time spent maybe 10 minutes. Yeah, minimum. This should be minimum time warming up. Normally when I go to the gym, I normally try to do about 20 to 30 minutes of warming up, as well as some cardio. So I would probably do the treadmill for about 20-25 minutes, and I'm nice and warm then, and then I will go and do some weights. So the procedure is in order: would be mobilizing work, heart raising, pulse raising, raise your pulse higher by obviously exercising and by bringing the heart rate up. That warms up the muscles, ready to do work. And then it's the work that you're actually going to do, depending on what discipline you're doing. Could be martial arts training. Okay, in there you'll be kicking, punching, depends on what you're doing. Again, that's part of your training. And then after that, when you finish training, depending if you've got time, if not, you should be doing this at home, is to stretch out the muscles. Okay, so these guys that want to be bodybuilding and get big and strong, great, but your muscles are very tight and contracted after training. Okay, so we need to relax the muscle, lengthen the muscle fibers afterwards. Okay, for this contraction and lengthening of the muscles, contraction and lengthening, stretching, lengthening out the muscle is very important. That's where the gains are. Furthermore, it also prevents injuries. So very important to do. And normally stretches, each stretch should be held for a good few seconds, depending on what type of stretch that you're doing. So there's different types of stretches. Hopefully we'll have a little bit time later on to go through some of those as well. How long we hold the stretches for is also important. Yeah. So we don't just hold a stretch for like 3 seconds and then, expect the muscle to be stretched. It takes a certain amount of time before the muscle actually starts to stretch. And that's normally anything between 5 to 6 seconds onwards. And then you need to hold that stretch for a further 5-6 seconds. Okay, in order to get a good stretch. So very important to stretch after you finish your exercises. And I mean, Mikhail can agree with me, during martial arts training, we do the same, don't we, Mikhail? We actually do some stretches normally at the end. I mean, sometimes we're pushed for time. Is that right? I mean, normally.
Yes.
Yeah. So we normally tell the children to try and do the stretches at home, because if you start warming up everybody and then raising your pulse, doing your mobilizing work, and then by the time we're done at the martial arts and finish, we're only actually going to be spending about 30 minutes doing the martial arts, if we include the stretches, the warm up and everything. So sometimes we cut it a little bit short for the warm up. Sometimes we cut the stretches a little bit short, where they expect the kids or anybody that's trained with us to try and do the stretches at home. But a good trainer or a good student should remember, whatever he's doing, whether he's training with somebody or training on his own, that he's got to do the basic stretches at the end. Okay, so important. Okay, I know a couple of people, very few, handful actually, that have actually had hardly any injuries over the years of training, whether they've been doing weights or whether they've been an athlete that's been doing long distance running, etc. And that is all through stretching. That is all through warming up the body prior to start, for example, lifting weights. I've seen a lot of, I've seen it so many times in gyms where you see a guy coming in and he might just get the bar, do a few reps on the bar, which is, most gyms on an average Olympic bar is about 20 kilo. So they do that for maybe 5-10 reps, and then they start loading up weights. Well, your muscles haven't really, warmed up, to be quite honest. So there's a lot of strain on your joints. Okay, muscles could tear. Okay, by doing that. So we've got to remember that we've got to follow a procedure, as it were. So you guys, this advice is for free. Yeah, I'm here. I do the show just for the community. Okay, it's my passion to explain to others if they don't understand, or to do with training. Yes, so many people I know has been training for many, many years, but when I see them, they've asked me, said to me, well, we want to lose weight, but I've seen them after a year and they haven't changed much, to be quite honest. And again, that could be what they're eating. That could be their habits, that of what they got, late night working and eating, binging. Yeah. So, we got to put a diet together for them maybe. So it's quite strict. You have to be with your body, yeah, in order for it to look good and obviously feel good. Right. So if you are overweight, there are exercises that I've given instruction and advice on before. Okay, so you can follow those. If you want to increase weight, body mass, because you feel like you're underweight, and there's different exercises and different types of food, more carbohydrates maybe, that'll help you bind up, put some bulk on. And then obviously there's people who are looking just to really keep the same body weight. They're not looking to go up or down. They're happy, and they want the cardio side. They want the inside here, the heart. So they do a lot of running. Yeah. But remember, if you don't want to lose weight and you're running around and obviously sweating, there are calories burnt. The more calories you burn, okay, they have to be replaced. Otherwise, like I said before, intake of calories and calories consumed, yeah, minus what you're actually going to be using, yeah, intake minus what you consume equals your body weight, as it were. So if you're happy with your body weight, then you got to remember the calories that you have, yeah, are constant with how you're training. If you're doing a lot of running, a lot of cardio work, and and you're going to be sweating a lot. Therefore, calories need to be put back into the body. Okay, otherwise you'll find that your body weight starts to go down. Now, different types of weight. There's water weight, body weight. So people look at that. What do they want to cut? We try to bring the fat content down. And that is really the secret of that, is just to keep it down, where it comes down to keep the sugar levels down. Okay. Right. If there's any questions, guys, please feel free to text us so I can answer them. Sometimes, obviously, being here on a radio show, I have nobody else to speak to. It's just myself. And I'm here to give advice. So anything from diets to training, okay? People asked me last time about martial arts and what about kids, and the second part of the show will be a little bit more on martial arts for the kids as well, and what I would recommend. Yeah, again, I do martial arts myself. I'm an instructor, so some instructors might have different opinions. Yeah, my advice to everybody is, when you do want to join a gym or whatever you want to join, a martial art place, go and visit them first. See the staff, see who's training, see what's happening, see how you get on with them. Because not every person is good at teaching, for example. Not every person is good at, depending on what you're going for. If it's a gym, he might be a personal trainer, but himself qualified, but maybe doesn't know how to teach. It's a different qualification, yeah, when it comes to actually binding with somebody and getting on with somebody. Those skills are slightly different. They take time to develop. So my advice is go to wherever you're going to. If it's a gym, speak to different trainers there, speak to them, see which one works for you. Okay. So everyone has, a type that they'll take. Someone wants someone, who looks quite fit, because they want to be quite fit. That's basic. But then you also got to know some of the trainers themselves have just come out of training. Okay, so they haven't had much practical experience. So theory side, yes, they're all qualified. Okay, but you also need the practical side of things as well. So the same thing as martial arts. Now we're going to a martial arts club. I will look at the instructor himself. What is he able to do? What were his achievements? Is he got any kids that are training there himself, his kids? If he hasn't, someone might not have kids. So they obviously haven't got any kids, so they can train them. So, but they've got other people's kids they train. So we need to look at that and see how they're getting on with that before we decide which club, what we're going to join. So these are the little tips that you guys need to have maybe and think before you go. So I was going to send my kid to a class. I go to a few different ones. So I was going kickboxing, for example. Find out where the nearest ones are, see where it's convenient for me, go and have a little look, and then we take it from there. But anyway, that's the second part of the show. Hopefully, the first part of the show was meant to be about stretches and training. The second part is going to be about martial arts and kids and what works and best for them. So coming back to the subject of stretches, quick stretches we're going to go through, and I'm going to get a little bit of interaction from you, Kyle. If you don't know the answer, you don't know the answer. Sometimes, you get thrown in the deep end and, you expect you to go with it. Sometimes I get it wrong. So I've had people asking me questions sometimes. I think, oh, I don't know the answer to that. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. And if it's happened before, it can happen again. And all I do say basically is, yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one. The last thing you want to do is give someone incorrect advice. If I'm asking for advice from somebody, I'll be more than happy for that person to say, I don't know, I'll find out for you, or, rather than give me advice and wrong advice. That's something that we have to remember. So stretches, just working. I'm going to only show you up to the top half, because obviously that's all you can see here today. So because the show is meant to be on stretching, we're going to still have to go through some of those. So at least you guys, maybe another time I can show you the bottom half of the stretches. And the bottom half that we're going to miss today would be the quadriceps, which are the front of the legs. Okay. The hamstrings, which are the back of the legs. And the calf muscle, which is at the bottom. Okay. So those muscles, basically, we're not going to be able to show you today, okay. So, but we'll quickly go through on the second part of the show, after this show, the second part of the show, we're going to go through a couple of stretches practically, okay, and then go through the kids' martial arts. All right, in a minute, you're going to be hearing the azan. It's coming up to Maghrib time now, so you'll be hearing that. So I'll see you on the other side of that. I've got a few more seconds to go, and then you can listen to the azan. I'll speak to you after the break, Mikhail, okay?
Assalamu alaikum. In Luton and its surrounding areas, it is now time for Salatul Maghrib.
लुटन और इसके मज़ाफ़ात में नमाज़े मग़रिब का वक्त हुआ चाहता है.
This azan has been sponsored by Ideal Properties. Contact us on 01582 721110 or log on to www.idealpropertiesltd.co.uk.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Would you like to sponsor the Azan? If so, give us a call on 01582 481810 or email us on info@inspirefm.org.
Right, guys. Right, we've got only a couple of minutes, yeah, for the rest of the before we get to the second half of the show. So hope you guys have read your namaz, Maghrib. Okay, so very quickly before we go to the second part of the show, I'm just going to go through the stretches. I'm going to get Makhali involved. Makhali, do you know how to do any stretches? We do some of them in the classes. Do you remember any of them?
I know most of them.
Most of them. Which ones do you know? Do you know? Let's start with from the top. Do you know a stretch for the neck? How would that be? Absolutely perfect. So head, your ear to your shoulder, slowly pushing your head down, aiding this, keeping that straight. Okay. And then to the other side. Okay. And these should be held for at least 8 to 10 seconds. Okay. So you go either side. Okay. Shoulder stretch. And you know how to remember that? No, that's not quite a shoulder stretch. Arm goes all the way across and we pull the arm in to ourselves, to our chest. Stretches our deltoid, which is our shoulders. Okay. Tricep stretch. That was the one you were showing me just now. That's the one. All the way back. Okay. Like that. Holding it back, not pushing on your joints. Okay. So I've got my hand cupped, or you can push onto the muscle. Hand at the back should be in that position. Bicep stretch. Opposite side of the arm. Good. Hands this way, arms. Thumbs going backwards. Stretches your bicep. Okay. Chest stretch. How to stretch the chest? Expanding. Yeah. So reach back with your elbows. 10 seconds here. Back would be the opposite way around. So we're coming forward with our arms. Okay, so our back is bulging this way. Side stretch. There we go. Leaning to one side. Stretches the lats and down here. And the same thing again to the other side. Okay, so we got our main stretch is done for the neck. Okay, which your side this way. Okay, holding, etc. Shoulder coming across, deltoid. Tricep stretch. Bicep stretch. Okay, chest stretch. Back stretch. And your lats. Okay, so those are the basic stretches that we've done for the top half. Okay, so just remember to do these every time you finish training. Right, we're going to be going into a break in a second, so we've got a little bit of time left, and then we're going to go to the second part of the show. The second part of the show really will be, if you've got any questions in the first half, you can still text us, that's not a problem, but the second part of the show is going to be about martial arts, and mainly kids related martial arts. Why I've decided to do that, it's a last minute thing because my son's here today, so we've got him here along to the show, so we might as well make the most of it, and we can ask him questions. So we're going to go to the adverts in about a minute's time, and I'll see you on the second part of the show. Anything else you want to say goodbye to the listeners, and we get to speak to them in about 30 seconds or so after the second part? Okay, no problem at all. Can they see us?
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM. Inspire 105.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Nabil Abdul Rashid and you're listening to Inspire FM. Inspire yourself to listen to Inspire FM on 105.1. Peace.
You don't have to go to Pakistan to enjoy the finest Asian food. Enjoy a great choice of authentic cuisine at Little Lahore Tandoori Restaurant and Takeaway in Dunstable. With mouth-watering chicken, lamb, veg and fish dishes, Chersi Karahi, Nihari, mixed grill, platters and for so much more, the Little Lahore Restaurant also has a separate hall for private parties for up to 50 people at 2 Nicholas Way, LU6 1TD. Or order via Deliveroo, Uber Eats or Just Eat. We also provide external catering. For more information, call 01582 353 983. That's Little Lahore for the finest Pakistani cuisine.
Attention all electricians, builders and DIY enthusiasts. Capital Electrical Wholesalers are now open in Luton. It's a fully stocked branch with experienced staff on hand to help with all your electrical needs. With branches also in Greenford, Tottenham, Richmond and Ashton. Capital Electrical Wholesalers only stock the biggest names, including JCC, Saxby, Knightsbridge, Hamilton, MK, Wilex, Hager, ACO Smoke Alarms and many more. That's Capital Electrical at Unit M, Kingsway Industrial Estate. Call 01582 801122.
For expert legal advice and support, talk with Luton's leading solicitors, Hannah Solicitors. We specialise in conveyancing, wills and probate, family law, immigration and personal injury, legal matters that matter to you. Our experienced legal team are here to help you through every step of the way. Call 01582 329 069. That's 01582 329 069 or click on hannahsolicitors.co.uk. Hannah Solicitors, professional advice with a tailored approach.
Faith in God guides humanity to give up all that is vain and trivial.
Biscard Pharmacy, your one-stop health and beauty pharmacy in Luton, stockist of over 8,000 health and beauty products. At Biscard Pharmacy, we offer a range of services, including health advice and repeat prescriptions for collection and delivery to your home. We also offer a Hajj and Umrah vaccination. Come in and see us and ask about our Stop Smoking service. We're open 7 days a week till late, including bank holidays. Biscard Pharmacy, 157A Biscard Road, Luton. Call 457709.
Losing a loved one, especially a mother or a father, could mean losing access to safety, education and shelter. We here at Crisis Aid believe that children in the world deserve a better chance at life. Your small donation can influence a big change. Donate today. www.crisisaid.org.uk/orphan fund or call our donations line 0333 305 5000.
Assalamu alaikum. Join us for a fair reflection where we discuss and critically look at various issues surrounding us locally, nationally, and globally around the world.
We will be talking to experts and giving you a platform where your opinion matters.
And remember, a fair reflection
where your opinion matters.
Tune in on Tuesdays between 6 and 7 p.m.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Any health advice given, whether general, diet, physical or spiritual, is general only and must be verified by your doctor. If you need medical advice, please consult a doctor.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the second part of the show, of the Health and Fitness Show. Before I go any further, just the numbers if you need to call in is Luton 01582 481822 or WhatsApp us on 0770 481822. The second part of the show is meant to be on kids, martial arts, etc. But I've got a few messages that have come up on the Facebook page, so we're going to have to just, if I can quickly address these, that'll be great. Someone's texted in, when's the best time to do stretches. As I said earlier on the show, maybe you missed that part. The best time for stretches is obviously after you finish your training. So just before you want to go home, or when you go home, you should be doing your stretches after you finish your session. So hope that answers your question. Best time for stretches is when you finish the session. Yes, if you've got enough time, you could do your stretches prior to the session, before you do any training. And then when you finish your training, you have to do them again. But it's more important that you do them at the end rather than the start. So if you only got enough time to do them once, as it were, then that would be after you finish training. What was the other questions? What stretches, how long do we hold the stretches for? Okay, the stretches on average take 8 to 10 seconds. So when you hold a stretch, just imagine me doing this stretch here for the tricep. As soon as I get in the position here where I can feel that stretch, 8 to 10 seconds, okay, before I can release, and then I can do it again. So 8 to 10 seconds is the answer for that. How long the minimum amount you should hold before the muscle starts to elongate. Okay, so that's 8 to 10 seconds. I'll add a little bit further to that very quickly, is to say that for stretching to be enhanced, if I want to increase my flexibility, so therefore I wouldn't hold that just for 8 to 10 seconds. That is for maintenance stretches. That's if you're happy with your flexibility, you're okay, just want to stretch the muscle, warm it up before or stress or lengthen it after training. For the stretch to get better and more mobility, for example, then you need to hold the stretches longer. And normally now it's 30 seconds. So if I'm holding this stretch, I'm very tight here, say, I will then hold that for 30 seconds. Okay. And then slowly release, shake my arm for 5-6 seconds, and maybe another 30 seconds. Now that is going to start improving my stretching. So that will give me more flexibility. Okay, this is with any exercise. A lot of people I notice have tight hamstrings. So when they go towards the toes, keep your knees straight. That is stretching your hamstrings. Okay, so go as far as you can. Hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Slowly come up, shake your legs 5-6 seconds, and then breathe out and go further down. Find that you'll be able to go a little bit more further than you did the first 30 seconds. Okay, so just finishing off that part. Okay, with what to stretch, how long to hold them for, and what stretches to increase mobility and flexibility. Right, we're going to get back to the second part of the show now, and we're going to ask you a few questions, Makar, to get you interacting with us a little bit, okay, rather than sitting there looking pretty bored. Okay, so martial arts for kids. Very important, I think, for kids to do martial arts. Yeah, it's a good place to go to meet other people. Yeah, socializing, very important. Secondly, you're building rapports with others. Yeah, seeing other children and see how you act, how your child is with other people, just like they're at school. It's just not the same as that. Okay, like they are at playtime, like they're doing a different martial art, a little bit disciplined, hopefully. Yeah, I've been to many clubs where kids are just running riot. Yeah, I've been to a class and I thought, wow, not going to go there. So it depends on what you want. For most martial arts should be teaching discipline. Okay. So, and sometimes when I was younger, I remember I was getting disciplined. They just gave me press ups and sit ups, and great. It's good one way of doing it, I suppose. But it also has these negatives, which is where people start hating training because they think that is a negative thing. Because when you do something wrong, you get press ups. You don't like press ups anymore. Okay. Me, when I was younger, I was happy because if I'm getting press ups and straight ups, I'm actually strengthening my body. So if I'm getting told off and being told to do 50 press-ups, well, that's great. It's going to help me, really. Unlike school where they used to ask us to turn around and face the corner or go outside and stand outside the headmaster's office. This is when I was younger. So that didn't really help me much. Okay. So very important for all the kids to do some kind of training, in my opinion. Again, this is my own opinion. Just like they have activities after school, I think it's very important. They have to do martial arts. Very important that they do sports. Even at school, they have a PE lesson. Do you have a PE lesson at school, Mikhail? Yeah. How many times a week do you do PE? Twice a week. Yes. How long is the PE lesson? 1 hour? 45 minutes. So that's not too bad. So they do have that in school. It's part of the curriculum. It's on your timetable. Is that right? Yeah. Good. So this is what they're trying to say. Even then, you have playtime at school where you're allowed to go outside and play with your friends. Yeah. Yes, this is all exercise. This is why they give that. And they give it for two reasons. One, you need a break from the lessons, is why you get breaks in between. But they actually do a PE class where they're actually active and you're doing some kind of running movements, moving around, getting fit. That is the whole purpose of that, All work and no play is not the best thing, in my opinion. So I think martial arts is very important because of the following reasons. Because I think builds a positive character for the child. It gives him a sense of awareness. Okay, so he is aware of his surroundings when he goes out. Martial arts should teach you a lot of these things. And in our club, do you know the 3 C's of our club, Mikhail? What's the first one? The most important one as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, courtesy. 1 C would be courtesy. And what does that mean? What does courtesy mean to you? Yeah, to show respect. And that could be to me, to the teachers at school, to your parents, to your family, right? What's the second C? What is the second C? Do you know? Courage. Okay, so we do have that as well, where it's courage, meaning, what does a courage mean to you? You don't know what courage means. Courage means to be brave. Okay, so there'll be situations where you might have to suck it up, as it were. You go in the ring, you're fighting someone, they're giving you a little bit of a hard punch on your stomach. It hurts. Yeah, have to be brave for that particular second. Mate, just trying to suck it up and get on with it. That's what they're trying to say, really. What's the third C? Do you remember that?
Confident.
Confidence. Don't think I need to explain. What does that mean? Be confident. Yeah. So answer. Have a go at stuff. Have a go at something. Yeah. If I ask a question, don't be afraid to get it wrong. Okay. That's what we really mean by that. So those 3 C's we actually trying to practice in our club where we can. Okay, we do have a bit of fun in games to make it a little bit more interesting for the kids. We play tag, we play ninja games where they have to close their eyes and feel opponents trying to get from one end of the hall to the other, and they have to go towards them and find out where they are. We play Sensei Says, which is just like Simon Says. Okay, is that right? Any more games you remember we play in our class? Bulldog, yes, that's another game that the children try to run from one end to the other without getting tagged. So there are the other bits and pieces that we do in our classes, and hopefully other martial arts instructors also do that to put a bit of a positive vibe on the kids. But as I was saying earlier on, it's very important that they do learn some kind of martial arts, because it's not the discipline, it's also the fitness side. Keeps them fit. All martial arts are fitness related. Yeah, you can't be very unfit and expect to be good at martial arts. So you need to have some discipline on the fitness side as well. And just as important, self-defense. A way to defend yourself. Obviously, at this moment in time when you're kids, it's a good time to start, okay? Because when kids have all this energy, we need to channel it for something. So maybe going competitions, meeting other children when they're out on seminars and things like that. Have you been to any competitions, Mikhail?
Yes.
Quite a few. Which ones have you been to? What have you done?
Kickboxing.
Kickboxing. Any other ones? You don't remember BJJ? Do you remember BJJ competitions?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've done those as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so different martial arts and how we would go about picking a martial art. Obviously, best thing to do is see what your child's interested in. What do you like? Kickboxing, boxing, BJJ, which is, and those who don't know what BJJ is, just short for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of movements are done on the floor, and it's a lot of grappling, basically. Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys are very confident on the floor, on their backs even. So the opponents on top of them, they don't feel any ways on that. They're very good at that. And to be honest, I have to agree with that as well. I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 2.5 years plus ago, and I've loved that so much over the years. Yes, I do some wrestling myself at the moment as well. All the stuff that I've never did. My disciplines have always been striking disciplines: kickboxing, Thai boxing, MMA, boxing. Yeah, so it's good to karate. So it was complete change for me. It's coming into the grappling martial art where you're not doing any punches, any kicks, any elbows, any knees. You got to grab and work from there. Look for submissions, look for pins. And I found that fairly interesting, to be quite honest. So what's your favorite one out of all of them?
Kickboxing.
Kickboxing. Why is that? Do you know why you like kickboxing?
Because they're just kicks and punches.
So it's just kicks and punches. So a lot of people I know is the kids, they're going to boxing. Yeah, because boxing is pretty natural as well, because anytime you need to, throw a punch, you use your hands. That's what boxing is. That's what anyone does naturally. Same as when someone hits you, this is what we normally do, reaction. Yeah, so same as boxing, we're defending with our arms. So boxing is probably one of the easier martial arts as well. Some people don't recognize boxing as a martial art. Anything that is some kind of defense and attack, offensive and defensive work, to me is still type of an art. So I would classify boxing still as a martial art, personally myself. So, but boxing is quite good because it's quite straightforward. You have a stance. You don't need to worry about any leg work where they're kicking you. They only need to worry about your leg work, how you work, how you move around the ring, how you tie up an opponent by moving out of range, in range, etc. So martial arts, I think, are important and a way forward for all kids, not only for the fitness or the discipline side. Strength, and it increases their strength, makes them strong, gives them positive attitude, makes them study more. If you can concentrate on anything, it'll help them with their school exams. They can sit and concentrate for longer. It's all been proven that if a child is doing martial arts and is training hard and is positively aimed, so we have gradings. So there's a grading system like a school exam, same thing. Yeah, we don't have any theory exams. We do give them some theory work sometimes for homework. I might give them how can you check on Google or ask your parents and do me 1 to 10 on how to do a press up. So arms hip width apart, legs back on your toes, and how to do a basic push up, things like that. But we do practical gradings like a lot of other clubs do, I'm sure. Okay, so these are very important to stimulate the children's minds. Competitions are important as well, I think, where if they're competitive and they've done martial arts for a few years, I normally say at least 12 months training before they actually enter a novice competition, where they do, depending on what it is. Rules are different for different martial arts. People have asked me for kickboxing. Well, kickboxing, we do American style kickboxing, where the kicks are above the belt normally. Okay, so they're kicking the body, torso, and the head. We also do low kick as well, boxing, which is inner leg, inner thigh, and outer thigh kicks with your foot. Okay, so Thai boxing is Thailand kickboxing. Okay, Muay Thai, as they call it, which is slightly different. They use their shins as well as their feet, so it becomes a more heavier kick. They also grabbing and throwing on the floor, sweeping you over, which are no grabs allowed in kickboxing. So these are the American style kickboxing. So these are the differences between different kickboxing. People have asked me, kickboxing do you do? Yeah, some places are doing Thai boxing, which is not the same style as what we do, for example. Okay, so kickboxing normally means kicks are normally above the belt, above the waist. Okay, and foot sweeps are allowed. There's no leg kicks. Then you introduce certain kickboxing rules now have low kicks as well. Okay, so you can kick to the head and body, and you can kick to the inside and outside thigh. And foot sweeps are also allowed. Thai boxing add on knees certain times, or depending on if it's a title fight, world title, they even include elbows. Kickboxing does not allow any elbows or any knees. Okay, unless it's Thai boxing. So these are the differences. You can clinch in Thai boxing, use your knees on the opponent. You can use knees to attack the body or the head. And like I said, when it comes to world championships and big title fights, there's certain competitions will allow you to elbow. I think it's pretty dangerous, really, and we don't really teach the kids that. There's no elbows and knees. We don't really teach the children. They learn how to strike basically with their hands and their feet. Okay. And in our grappling classes, we have a different instructor that comes down and we teach BJJ, sometimes wrestling as well. So it's grappling. What would you do to somebody, or if someone tried to attack you without hurting him? How do we basically neutralize him? And that would be through jiu-jitsu. That would be through the wrestling skills that they actually learn, which is quite good, because there's certain children that, don't want to do any punches. They don't want to learn that, which is great, not a problem. So then that would be a reason for me to look for my child to maybe in a grappling class. And again, people have said, well, what does grappling mean? Grappling basically means grabbing somebody, and wrestling with them, for example. Wrestling is one form of a grappling art. There's many, many others that I can name. I'm not going to name every single one. To give you a rough example, jiu-jitsu. That'll be another one where they're doing grappling. Okay, Greco-Roman, different type of wrestling. There's so there's freestyle wrestling. So they're different styles. They have different rules. Is why they're called. Why they have their own names. But in a nutshell, grappling means grabbing, taking down the person to the floor. And in certain martial arts, they're actually putting them into arm bars, neck choking the person. So very important, really, to be able to study the martial art before you actually go and join it. I've had many people come to my classes that people have said, right, he wants to do this. But after speaking to the child, I find out that, no, he doesn't really want to do that. But he prefers this better. So we do try classes in our club, and I'm sure many others do the same, where you can go in and pay for a lesson, and then try out the class. Saves you joining for a month and paying a month and then not liking it and losing your money. You're better off to do a lesson and see how you go from there. Any tips for any children, Mikhail? Anything that you'd like to say to anybody? No? You're okay. All right. So when it comes down to training, I think it's very important that if you're going to send your kid to a martial arts school, go and have a look, see what they're teaching, see what your son wants to do or daughter wants to do. Okay, now places we do separate girls classes, and I'm sure, like I said, many other places do the same, I hope. So we have special classes for girls, women only. We also do the boys classes. Then we do the men. Men I normally teach, or the children over 8 years old. But on the men's classes, we do a 1-to-1 class most of the time. Notice with the adults, they either they do a couple of lessons and they take 3 weeks off. So, the way I look at it is you've got to be committed when you take something up. If you're going to come only once a week, well, you've got to practice at home. So very important to do the martial arts side of things as well. Again, like I said, for discipline, for fitness. Some do it just for fun. Some want to compete. Some don't want to compete. You don't have to do competitions. So this is something to remember. You don't have to do certain things. As for getting hurt, that could happen with anything. I've seen people playing football getting hurt, twisted their ankle. They wear shin pads. Same as this, we have protective equipment. Okay, so there are protective equipment that we wear: groin guards, gum shields, head guards, hand wraps, boxing gloves, shin pads, foot protection. So all these areas are covered and protected. Children also have an option to wear elbow supports if they want to. Elbow pads, shall I say, and knee pads. Most of the children don't wear those, but that's an option that you do have. If you don't want to hurt anybody, somebody might punch in that and you put an arm in their way and they clip onto your elbow, could hurt the other person. So the protective equipment that we use, or most places use, are not just to protect, say, myself from getting hurt. It's also to protect the other person. Okay, so very important that if you are training, wherever you're training, that they do have protective equipment and you do wear that during training. And then obviously when you go competitions, I'm sure that they have rules there where you have to have, certain head guards and gloves and whatever. Make sure that you've got them and they're decent as well, so that they can work properly for you. Okay, so martial art wise, okay, the main martial arts I think really that people are asked for is something to do with hands and legs, and there's many of those. There's taekwondo, tang soo do, karate, so kickboxing, Thai boxing, sambo. There's many different styles where they're using arms and legs. All right, so depending on what you decide works best for you, for your child, what he likes. I mean, I know people that just, judo's a very nice one. You grab onto the gis. Gis is the uniform that they wear. So every class normally has his own uniform. Same as our classes, kickboxing have flashy kickboxing suits made of silk sort of thing. So they look all flashy and that. Yeah. If you grab them and pull them, they get ripped. That's because they're not meant to get grabbed and pulled. Unlike in the jiu-jitsu class. In the jiu-jitsu class, they'll have thick gis on. Yeah. Wrapped like a karate suit, basically, but thicker material. So they're like judo and aikido and stuff. They're quite hard. So you grab them. That's what they're for. They're for grabbing and pulling. And they don't get ripped. So different uniforms for different clubs, for different martial arts. For boxing, we have vests for or t-shirts on the top, and on the bottom they wear shorts, training shoes. Right? So every martial arts that we teach, they have their own uniforms and their own, so you know that the discipline that you're looking. And I think the first stage is to look professional. To be professional, you need to first of all look professional. So if I go to a class and I've seen one person wearing shorts, another one wearing a tracksuit, one wearing green, one wearing blue, doesn't look very positive. Okay. This is where I stress that, very important. I mean, I sometimes get changed 3 different times in 3 hours because I teach maybe 3 different lessons of different disciplines. So even as an instructor, I like to look the part at least. Yeah. So for MMA, for example, I'll wear a rash guard and I'll wear my shorts. Yeah. For kickboxing, I'll wear my kickboxing suit and a t-shirt for kickboxing. So if the instructor can get changed, I'm sure students can afford and buy uniforms and whatever else for the lesson that they're doing. So it's another thing. If it looks more positive, just like at school, there's a uniform. You can't go to school with jeans on unless it's a day that is non-uniform day, of course. So it's the same thing with martial arts. You have to take it serious. Okay, so to progress in something, you have to take something serious. Yeah, and put your mind to it. So if your child says, after a few lessons, he's not interested, I'd like to find out why he's not interested. Is there a different martial art I should be taking him to? I said the same thing to my kids many years ago. I said, look, if you don't like going boxing, no problem. You're going to go kickboxing. If you're not going to go kickboxing, I finally thought, hang on a minute, probably is me. They don't want to go where I'm teaching them. So I said, no problem. I have many people that I know who are instructors in martial arts. Go to one of their classes. Okay, so this is when they turned around and said, no, Dad, we're going to be sticking with yours. Because the bottom line with me is, the motto I have at home is, you are going to be going training somewhere. Okay, just like school. If a child says, I'm not going to school, well, unless you're ill, you are going to school. I don't see why you're going to miss school. You have to, it's important. The same thing with training. It's the physical side. Okay, there's other aspects of life, obviously. I'm not here to do a show to speak to you about the other aspects, but everything should have a timetable. So we have a timetable for what days we teach what we teach. We have a lesson plan, and we have a certain time that lesson is on. During that time, kids have a bit of fun in games. Is that right, Makai?
Yes.
We normally have a bit of fun in games. Yeah. We are allowed to speak freely. Yes. Laugh and joke in the class, but then there's time to be serious training. They're training up for a grading. Now it's time to put all your effort down on this. Show me what you've got, basically. And whether you're doing pad work or whether you're doing bag work or whether you're even showing sparring in the club. Okay. Very important. Okay. And again, for me, when it comes to competitions and stuff, I emphasize a lot on competition, because when a child sees a complete stranger he's never seen, that brings out his true colors. It's okay fighting in your club and doing good or whatever it is, because you're in your club, you're on your comfort zone. This is a ring, yeah, in your own club, your own teacher. When I take my kids to competitions, they go out of Luton. They see a complete different atmosphere. Yeah, they got rings there as well, but it's not their ring. They see their instructor, but they see other people's instructors. They see a child they've never seen before, maybe dressed in a more fancier suit than theirs. They think, oh, yeah. So all this is what I think is important. So they think, wow, this is what it's all about. When it comes down to martial arts, yeah, and you're competing, you've got to show what you've been, how good you are, what you've learned. And the best way to put your skills to the test is in a competition. So we have gradings at the class as well, which is very important that we do grade the students every 3 months. Yeah, they get graded and they move up in belts, and they start learning more techniques. Right, Makad, we're going to finish off in about minutes. Is there anything that you want to say to everybody? Must be something. Good evening. It was great to be on the show. That would be nice to hear. It's the first time I brought him here anyway, so none of the kids have actually been to the studio, so I can see you're a little bit shy. He's got an hour class to do now. He's got an hour of kickboxing after this. We have to actually go back to the class and do that. So, right, guys, hopefully the next session, I will let you guys know what it's going to be on, or the next month that we do the show, and see what that's going to be all about. I'm going to see if I can get someone to help me to do the show, get another guest. We've got just a few seconds left, so I'd like to say goodbye to all the viewers, and it was great for me to come in and do another show for you guys. See you later. All the best. Say bye.
Bye bye.